can't remember the last time you had a full night's sleep, well, you're not alone, but you are in the right place. Because in today's video, I'm going to share my top parenting hacks for helping your little one sleep through the night. First and foremost, and always top of my list, is establishing a regular and recognizable pre-nap and bedtime routine. So for the pre-nap routine, this can be very simple. It can consist of a cuddle and a lullaby, preferably the same lullaby every time that you sing to them, and then putting them down for their nap. And for the bedtime routine, it can be a warm bath followed by a baby massage. Then they can have their feed. Then you can give them a cuddle and look at a book together, and finally sing that all-important lullaby again. And I'd also recommend that you try and put your baby to bed within the same 30-minute window every day. This helps to make sure that their circadian rhythm is well as truly established and that they're used to falling asleep at the same time each day. Now, in order to make sure that you really nail those pre-nap and bedtime routines, don't forget to download our free bedtime and nap cheat sheet, which gives you really quick pointers on how to establish those all-important routines before sleep. And number 2 on my list, also something that I'm always talking about, is optimizing the sleep environment. So you have to give your baby the best chance to fall asleep, and that means creating the best sleep environment you possibly can. As your baby matures, they're going to become far more aware of what's going on around them. They're going to be more sensitive to what they see and to what they hear. So ideally, you need the room to be dimly lit, at the very least with a night light. And I would also invest in some blackout blinds because that helps with early morning waking. And it also helps hugely with nap times to keep the daylight out so they're not distracted by what they can see. Next, have the all-important white noise machine. They're great for blocking out ambient sound, and they're also really soothing, and it really helps them settle, feel comforted and less alone. If your baby is comfortable and not feeling too hot or too cold, they're less likely to A, struggle to go to sleep, and B, to wake up fully at night. So the temperature in the room needs to be between 68 and 72 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 and 22 degrees Celsius. Number 3 on the list, and one that I'm always recommending to parents, is that you get your baby to practice new skills when they're awake as much as you possibly can during the day. The reason for this is that if they're not getting enough opportunity to practice those skills during the day, they might not be tired enough to stay asleep all night or fall asleep quickly, or they might be wanting to practice those new skills when they should be sleeping. So for younger babies, that means plenty of tummy time. And for older babies, it means making sure that when they are awake in those wake windows, that their time is stimulating, that they're getting time to learn all those new things that they need to. Now, number 4 is to get daytime sleep right and know how much sleep your baby needs in a 24-hour period. Now, it might seem a bit strange talking about daytime sleep when you're really concerned about how much they're waking up at night. But I am always saying sleep breeds sleep, and that you cannot look at daytime sleep and nighttime sleep separately. They are always linked. And the better the daytime sleep, the better the nighttime sleep. And on the Teeth into Tantrums website, we have sleep schedules by month for every single age. And there you will see exactly how much sleep you can expect your baby to have during the day, depending on how much they're sleeping at night. Now, it's very important when you're thinking about your daytime sleep that you watch for sleep cues and you act upon them. And always act upon them according to what your baby is telling you and not what's on the clock. The most important thing is that you avoid overtiredness. And overtiredness can build during the day, and it will definitely sabotage your nighttime sleep if you end up with an overtired baby at the end of the day. Now, my next tip is a really quick and simple one, and it's one that I have used with every baby that I've cared for, including my son. And that is putting your baby in their crib during the day when there's no pressure to sleep. So that means putting them in the crib on their back, put up a mobile or attach a toy to the side of the crib and leave them alone for a short period of time. Now, if it doesn't work straight away, don't panic. I would just leave your baby for short periods of time. You could even just put them in there and be doing something else in the room for a while before you start leaving them. But it's really good for them to get used to not having you around while they're in the crib. And the benefit of this is, and in my experience, you end up with a baby that wakes up and is quite happy to just babble away and play in their crib. And it really takes the pressure off you having to be there the second that they open their eyes. And my next point, don't rush in every time you hear them make a sound. And this refers to whether it's a nap or whether it's at bedtime or overnight when they're asleep. Babies can be incredibly noisy sleepers. They make all sorts of noises when they're sleeping. And sometimes we make the mistake of thinking they're awake, and quite naturally, as parents, we want to check that they're okay, and so we go in and make sure, or even pat them and resettle them. And by doing that, we are actually creating a habit. They will expect you to appear every time they are coming out of a deep sleep. So wait. Even if they get a bit grisly, give them the benefit of the doubt and give them the chance to resettle. You may be surprised and they'll just go back to sleep quite happily. Obviously, if they get upset and you'll need to go to them, then do so. But always, always give them that time to resettle. So the final tip is to gradually wean your baby off what they need from you in order to fall asleep. So if they need you to feed them, rock them, pat them when they're in the crib, then you've got to gently wean them off this in order for them to be able to fall asleep independently. And when they come out of that deep sleep, if they are unable to resettle themselves independently, in other words, if they need you to feed them, rock them, pat them, then they're going to cry because they want you there. And that's perfectly understandable because they don't know any other way to do it. So the best way to do this is to carry on doing that and then put them in the crib before they are fully asleep. So when they are like 95% asleep. Do that for a couple of nights and then reduce it to when they're sort of 75% asleep, and then reduce it again, and gradually reduce the amount of time you are spending putting them to sleep until you've weaned them off completely and you're putting them down without having to do any of those things. Now, this does take a while, but it's definitely worth doing. Otherwise, they will always need you to resettle them whenever they wake. As you can see, there are many things that impact on your baby's nighttime sleep outside of them simply needing to sleep. But if you follow these tips that we've talked about today, then you will establish a really strong foundation for a solid sleep schedule for your baby, which will reduce the need, hopefully, for more conventional sleep training as they grow. Don't forget to download our free bedtime and nap cheat sheet so that you can really nail those pre-sleep routines. There are also lots of posts on the Teething to Tantrums website, and we'll put links to them in the description box below, and they cover everything related to sleep. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so you never miss a video. Thank you.